Hi guys, I'm Geen. In this video, we're gonna create this Halloween illustration using Figma. Let's start by creating an ellipse. Let's give the width 280 and the height 320. Now double click on the shape. Now click twice to edit the shape. Now I'm gonna shift these points towards bottom by holding shift and arrow keys, and also adjusting the points on the sides too. We can duplicate this ellipse by holding Alt and drag. Let's duplicate the ellipse by 2 times, and the value you are seeing in the screen is the distance between the ellipse, edges of the ellipse, and let's set it as 72. Now I'm gonna edit this shape again to obtain a pumpkin shape, and also repeating the same process for the other side too. Now we can give a radial gradient to this ellipse one, and you can access this color palette from the link in the description below. Now let's add some highlights and shadows to this ellipse using inner shadows in effects panel. Now let's copy and paste these properties to the other two ellipses. Now I'm gonna draw stem to this pumpkin using pen tool. You can select pen tool by hitting P. Let's add a little inner shadow to give that 3D look. Perfect. Now we have a pumpkin shape. Now let's add an ellipse. In this method you can change ellipse to semicircle. Now let's give it a height of 98 and width 106. And also a rounder corner of 0.2. Now let's give some color to this mouth, and also with a drop shadow we can add a subtle glow to this mouth. Fine, let's add two teeth to this mouth. Let's duplicate it by holding Alt and drag. Let the spacing between them be 24. And also let's pick this color. Now let's add nose using triangle, and we can reduce in height and give it a little corner radius too. Now let's create eyes. Double click on the shape to edit it. And let's add more corner radius to this. Now we can give close to the eyes, and let's give the same fill color of the eyes, and setting the layer blur to 50. Now select all pumpkin layers, and we gonna make this into one group and renaming it to pumpkin. Let's duplicate the group using Ctrl D. In the plugin search noise, and using noise plugin we can add a texture to our illustration using masking. Now select both and click on the mask to mask this. Now let's give opacity, blend mode to overlay, and reduce its opacity to 30. Perfect. Now we can add some background details like shadows and paths and other elements to balance our illustration. Now let's select everything and move a little bit down. Okay, fine. Now let's add some background lighting, and let's give this a blue color. and change its layer blur to 180. And let's move this to the bottom of the layer stack. Similarly, duplicate this one more time. And let's again edit this, and again this time we can give another color. And let's desaturate color little bit. Now select these two background color and group it. Let's rename the group name to BG and duplicate it using Ctrl D and rename it as BG noise. And now we gonna add the same noise texture to this BG lighting as well. Now we can give realistic shadows and lighting to the bottom of the pumpkin using ellipse and blend modes. Also, we can adjust our layer opacity by clicking numeric keys. Now we can bring this to the bottom of the layer stack. Now I'm gonna add some clouds in the background using pen tool. So this is the easiest method to create cloud in Figma using pen tool and corner radius and adjusting corner radius. Now we can duplicate this cloud and edit its point so that we can obtain different cloud with same properties. Now we need to reduce the size of this cloud. By pressing K, we can scale down this. Now we can add some bats in the background. Using pen tool, we can create wings for this bat. Swap, fill and stroke. Holding control and clicking on any point, we can add curve to that point. Now let's duplicate the wing and just reduce the size of the ellipse. Now we can give it a color. And also adding subtle inner shadow at the bottom. Let's reduce the opacity to 30. Now right click, holding control and right click on the pumpkin eye to select the pumpkin eyes layer. Now copy it and now paste it using Ctrl V, Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Yeah, now let's duplicate it and again scale down both by pressing K and grouping both eyes under bar shape. using Ctrl G, and let's add little tilt. Again scaling it down and duplicating it. Okay, now to balance our illustration, let's add some background elements, some lines, some stars, some dots.